Tom Aspinall has finally broken his silence about his eye injury, and the update is not looking good. Arman Tsarukyan is not happy at all, and you can understand why as he speaks about the interim title match that doesn't involve him between Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje, and Michael Chandler provide an update with regards to Conor McGregor and a potential fight that should have happened years ago that still could happen next year. People, it's MMA Monday live. Sit back, relax. Let's talk about it. Good morning, lovely people. Hope you're well. Welcome to MMA Monday Live. Do smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. On the road to 8,000 subscribers, and I'll tell you how far away we are from that at the moment. Let me see. Let me do a little update check. See how many subscribers away from 8K. Just around 300 subs, guys. 300 subs to 8K. Let's try and get there ASAP. Can we, guys? Can we please? So, look, let's start with the situation with Tom Aspinall. Obviously, Aspinall fought Ciryl Gane for 1 round last month, and the fight was stopped prematurely because of an illegal eye poke. Now, since the fight, Tom Aspinall has been ridiculed. He's been called all sorts of names. You could even say he's borderline on abuse. And he was the person who received the foul, whereas Ciryl Gane, who inflicted the foul, seemed like he kind of just got away scot-free, if we're going to be honest. However, the champion has come out and spoken up about the situation. And he is not happy with Ciryl Gane. He's not happy with Dana White. And he's not happy with a lot of the fans who have been going at him. So I just want to share this video real quick of him speaking. This is from his YouTube channel. This is straight from the horse's mouth. Shout out to Gaz in the comments. Shout out to Foyo, and shout out to Martin as well. You're right, Martin. Those who called him a quitter don't look very good right now. But let's visit this. Here's what Tom had to say on his YouTube channel.
I was trying to poke my eyes out all the way through that round. Multiple exchanges, nearly every exchange that I could put him in danger. He had his fingers out pointing towards my eyes. Have a look at this clip and let me know what you think, if you agree, because it's hard to disagree when you've got footage like this. The guy was cheating from the first second, and the way that he wanted to win that fight was to have me compromised by cheating.
So what have you just seen there?
I've just seen that every time his hand comes out, it does this. And it's wrong.
Have you heard from Ciryl Gane at all, or any contact or anything post-fight?
Nope.
Nice guy.
And your thoughts on him at the moment?
My thoughts on him, I think he's a big cheater. I was trying to poke my eyes out all the way through that round.
Tom Aspinall is not happy, and you can understand why. And he has every right to feel like this, especially with the way he's been treated by fans, fellow fighters, media. It's not been good. But even more so from Dana White. And look, to give an update on Aspinall's situation, I'll actually read out what is actually his diagnosis. So Tom Aspinall. So in the Ciryl Gane fight, he's been diagnosed with bilateral traumatic Brown syndrome, orbital trauma, and a possible fracture as well. Now, he's also been given a medical suspension. He's still not been cleared to drive, and there is no return time set on Tom Aspinall. So obviously that throws out more questions about the championship and what potentially happens next. I think there'll be an interim bout because of this, because there is no time scale when Tom's going to be back and able. He's not even training. He can't train at the moment. Can't drive. Can barely see out of one of his eyes. I think this is why we, as those who cover MMA, those who have an investment in the sport, need to do a bit better of a job of actually going through and analyzing these situations. It's very easy to go and say, oh, well, you know, said fighter didn't pull out of a fight when he got his eye poked. Everyone's eye pokes experiences are very different. You look at someone like Bilal Muhammad, who got a really bad eye poke from Leon Edwards in their first fight, and he couldn't continue the fight. And he got ridiculed for it. People were saying, oh, look at a grown man and grown fighter crying on the floor. He thought he lost his vision. You look at others. Israel Adesanya got eye poked, decided to continue the fight. A couple seconds later, he's knocked out on the floor. These are their livelihoods, guys. These are their careers. These are their money-earning ways of survival in life. And they're doing this in front of the world. And why should Tom Aspinall continue to fight compromised because someone fouled him? Doesn't make sense to me. It never made any sense. And look, he's livid with Dana White, because you remember Dana White came out after it happened. Instead of like getting at Cyril Gane, he came out saying that Tom Aspinall didn't want to continue. So this is what Tom Aspinall's had to say about Dana White and what he thought about it. He says, hold on, let me find it. He said he's not happy. I didn't continue, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm not an effing dummy. I'm not going to fight one of the best strikers in the world if I can't see. If it's the foul, then why am I going to put my health at risk when I can't see it all? Hunter Campbell, who I deal with personally, has said that if there's any way they can help out with doctors, then that's what they'll do. Yeah, he's not happy with Dana White's Tom didn't want to continue comment. Dana White's had this to say about it. He said, I think Aspinall took it a little too hard. I mean, how can you take it a little too hard? You wait for the John Jones fight, it doesn't happen. Then you fight Cyril Gane, and then in the first round, you get eye poked to the point where you can't see. Like, I think he's got a right to be a bit peed off. Going back to the quote, but you've got a lot of these people saying he quit. It's easy to sit on the couch and watch someone get eye poke and say, oh, he quit. I mean, Dana, you kind of said the same thing. Tom still has vision problems 6 weeks after the fight versus Cyril Gane. Look, Dana's got to do a better job as well. He's a promoter. I think he forgets sometimes what his job is. He's a promoter. Like, he's a promoter. He's meant to be elevating these fighters rather than putting them down all the time. And it feels as though all he does is put fighters down, apart from John Jones. Like, Tom is your heavyweight champion of the world. He's been eye poked to the point where he can't continue. And the first thing you do is come out and say, we didn't want to continue. You're meant to come out and go, look, he was compromised. It's not fair on him to fight as a compromised fighter, especially in a championship fight. We'll go back. We'll see how he recovers. We'll offer any help he needs. And we'll see how things like come to fruition after that. In regards to Cyril Gane, we'll have a chat with him. We'll see what we can do regarding the eye pokes and then go from there. That's all he had to say. But once again, he relieves himself of accountability. He doesn't say what he should be saying, and it's wrong. What he should really be saying is we need to find a way of stopping these eye pokes. That's what he needs to say. We need to find a way of ridding MMA of eye pokes, more specifically the UFC, because it's compromising fighters. It's putting fighters in a bad way. It's bad. Shout out to Gaz, says no different to Hearn, only cares about the cash. I'll be honest, Gaz, Hearn wouldn't have done that, I don't think. Not about one of his fighters. Maybe he'd have probably done it about a rival fighter. That I'll agree with. He'd have probably done it about a rival fighter. He wouldn't have done it about one of his fighters under his stable, though. And that's the difference, in my opinion, between Eddie Hearn and Dana White. Eddie Hearn is not removed from boxing, whereas Dana White seems like he's removed from MMA and the UFC. And you only have to look at his actions over the past year to show why I say that. But, you know, time will tell. We'll see what happens there. Hopefully, Aspinall gets a speedy recovery, but I see there being an interim title fight, and I'll speak on that later on this week. Right. Arman Tsarukyan, someone else who, in my opinion, has really been screwed over. And he's not happy. He spoke about saying how he's not surprised that Pimlet's getting a title shot. He's not surprised that no one wants to fight him. He's not surprised that Gaethje's not getting a fight. And look, he should be next in line for Ilia Topuria. Gaethje versus Paddy is an absolutely fine fight. The only issue I have, sorry, I've got something in my eye. The only issue I have is that it shouldn't be for an interim belt. Neither of those two deserve a title shot, in my opinion. That should have been a number one contender bout. That should have been fine. Because the argument could be made, I mean, if you're going to do an interim bout, why isn't Max Holloway given an interim bout? His last fight was Dustin Poirier at 155, and Dustin Poirier is ranked higher than Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett's moved in up the rankings without even fighting. Gaethje's last win was a short notice fight against Rafael Fiziev, who's ranked number 12 in the world, if I'm not mistaken. And Paddy Pimblett's last win was against Michael Chandler, who's currently ranked 11th in the world. So these two men's last wins against fighters who are not in the top 10. Paddy hasn't had a win against a fighter who's currently in the top 10 of the lightweight division. And he's getting an interim title shot. The moment I said this, guys, the moment Paddy's ranking was moved from, I think it was 8 to 5, you knew he was getting a title shot of some sort. But I didn't expect this to happen. And the fact that Gaethje gave UFC an ultimatum and then got his wish, I think it really puts them in I think it makes the UFC look weak. It makes Dana look weak as well. However, if I'm going to be objective and fair, shout out to Ash. Dana is punishing Arman for his back injury situation, making him wait. Now, here's the thing. Dana said that they're cool. And also, let's be real, Arman waited in a backup fight for Ilya versus Charles and then took a fight with Dan Hooker, which no one else really wanted, and beat him pretty easily. I think if Arman's being punished for anything, I think he's actually being punished for headbutting Dan Hooker at the weigh-in. Because if I'm not mistaken, he actually fractured Dan's nose doing that. So I think that's what he did that really messed him up. And look, if I'm going to be honest and objective, yeah, Arman shouldn't have done that. And it's the third incident. He had the incident where he punched a fan in the crowd when he was walking out for his fight with Oliveira. Then you had the incident where he pulled out of the fight with 24 hours notice. And then now you've got this incident where he's headbutting Dan Hooker. But if we're going to do that, how many times has Hamzat done stuff behind the scenes and caused a commotion? He did something recently with Ian Gary. Conor McGregor, commotion behind the scenes. Ilia Topuria and Paddy Pimblett, they had a ruckus behind the scenes. I mean, suppose Arman had the whole situation with Bobby Green as well. That's 4 for Arman, to be fair. But you get my point. If Arman was a knockout artist and a stand-up fighter, I don't think we're having these issues right now. Just saying, I think if he was a knockout artist and someone who went out there and just wanted to stand on the feet, I don't think we're having this conversation right now. I think he gets the title fight. But this being the first fight on Paramount, then they wanted to go with the two biggest names available in the division, and that probably is Paddy and Justin Gaethje. Obviously, they could have done Paddy versus Holloway. I don't think you can sell a Holloway versus Gaethje fight. But yeah, this screams to me of a money grab from the UFC. And again, it throws into more question. Is this entertainment or is this meritocracy? I think you can have a nice balance of the two. But for me, if you're calling this a sport, if this is a sport, then meritocracy should trump everything, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. The final topic, guys, and that is to do with Michael Chandler. And he has had this to say. He fought at RAF. Well, didn't fight. He wrestled Chad Mendes at RAF, a new promotion that's currently going on at the moment, which is actually really good, real fun, it seems. And he had this to say after beating Chad Mendes 4-2 at wrestling. Let me just get up the video. Spare me a moment.
I didn't call out Conor last night. There's a simple reason why I didn't call out Conor. Yeah, I had a microphone in my hand, and yeah, I was pumped up. I was sweating. The juices were flowing. The veins were popping. Of course, I'm not going to call out Conor at a wrestling match, okay? I've done it enough. The fight's already happening. You know I'm fighting. You know I want to fight him. You know he wants the fight be. He's brought in guys to his training camp to mimic my style. So that fight has already been called out, been signed, sealed, and delivered since June of 2024. He's going to make good on his promise, on his word, on the ink on the contract here in June of 26. So it made sense. In the sport of wrestling, I was going to call out the biggest name I possibly could. That's why I call out Jordan Burroughs. I'm not going to call out Conor McGregor at a wrestling match. Although you guys probably were waiting for it and you wanted it to happen, but it didn't. So I'll fight Conor in June, South Lawn, White House. God bless. See you at
Makes a good point. Makes a good point. If you ask me, you're not going to call out Conor in a wrestling environment. Calling out Jordan Burroughs is crazy. I think Jordan Burroughs wipes the floor with Michael Chandler. No disrespect to him. Jordan Burroughs is a special wrestler. I don't even think that fight would be close. It seems like Conor is back in training. It seems like he's in a fight camp or pre-fight camp. And all roads lead towards the White House, it seems. There's no point Chandler continuing to call out McGregor. He just looks silly at this point if he continues to call him out without the fight happening. I do think the fight will probably happen now, probably at the White House. And Chandler does deserve the fight. He's waited. He put his career on hold, which shouldn't have had to happen, but he did. And I think we'll all tune into the fight. I know I will. I'm sure many of you will as well, especially if it's going to be at the White House. I think all of us will be tuning into that to see how Conor comes back in his comeback fight, how he's recovered from his leg break. Does he still have the speed? Does he still have the power? Does he still have the hunger? There'll be so many questions from Conor's side, and there'll be so many questions from Chandler's side. Like, what happens to his career if he loses this fight against Conor McGregor, who's been out for years? So much riding on this one. So, yeah, people, I'm going to wrap up there because I'm going to be live again at 12 with Hassam and Tom. So do look out for me over there. And yeah, pleasure as always, people. Smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, people. Enough love to you all. Thanks for all watching and listening. I'll see you again. Take care, everyone. Speak soon.